I wanted to get into like a fun brought up our own personal topic. Because there was this funny thing going around that Blockbuster, the last one in known existence that is still not rebranded as a my Blockbuster got rebranded into a dual Dunkin' Donuts Baskin Robbins.
What a strange combo.
I know.
To each other.
Yeah, no, it's weird. You can literally just get both. But yeah, no, that's what my old Blockbuster, like the whole complex has turned to like 4 different stores. It's like those 2, also like this hair salon place, and I think maybe like a self-service thing. It's weird. And a Little Caesars. It's weird.
Wow.
This entire Blockbuster. Like its own tiny strip mall. But yeah, recently it came out, and this isn't like film news unless you know the context of Blockbuster. That's the big rental store before streaming. They're putting up their last location up on Airbnb for $4
a night.
$4.
A night, yeah. Like starting in September, and it was great to see. Like they actually have a set layout. It's like this pull-out couch in front of this like old square box big TV for like just the whole vintage thing with the Blockbuster sign, and you still have the racks of movies available and like set up snacks. So I guess you probably like. But also, again, $4 a night, that's amazing. I don't know if there's like additional charges for like using stuff, but that's really cool, honestly.
I'm sure it's going to sell for the entire year, especially
because it's so nostalgic now.
It's nostalgic, and with COVID happening, like, you know, a little escape with the people that you're already quarantined with.
Yeah. And again, like another thing with Blockbuster, it's not just movies either. It's also games. So
right.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up. Yeah, I bought a lot of games from Blockbuster.
Oh man.
But to that point, it just the whole prospect is fascinating, and it's great to like the Blockbuster Twitter themselves came alive for a day to like retweet it and like just like, hey, how's everyone doing? But to that point, I wanted to actually throw to all of us here our favorite Blockbuster memories of going, because I'm pretty sure we've all gone.
Yes.
Yeah.
What a time.
For me, I remember like I used to go to the video store more so with my dad than my mom. And like every Friday, whenever I went to my dad's house, I would always like my brother and I would go to like the horror section for some reason. And this is where we got a lot of the Goosebumps movies. Like a lot of the, or like, I don't know if it was movies or TV shows. I forget how the Goosebumps stuff worked. But we got a lot of the Goosebumps just videos and shows to watch. Wow. And that's where I grew up on like all those live action Goosebumps stuff. And I also read the Goosebumps books a lot. So that's where that came in.
Did you ever bring into the era of renting, but like they had the VHS tapes or just DVDs?
VHS tapes, yeah. I had a lot of VHS.
I don't think I actually really experienced that too much.
Really?
Yeah, I think primarily I just saw DVD. I mean, like I've known people who actually had like a
Blockbuster. Oh, you're seeing like renting VHS.
Yeah.
I actually, I don't know. I had a lot of VHSs at home. I don't know how many I
know I've had VHSs that were actually like marked with the Blockbuster thing. Be kind, rewind. Yeah. Back when you had to rewind. It was otherwise, you're a dick if you don't. Like,
exactly.
You imagine like, can you imagine somebody pulling a horrible prank where like everybody just like rents a bunch of VHS copies of Empire Strikes Back and stops it at the IM?
Oh God, that would be so bad.
Horrible.
What a horrible.
Did you guys' parents ever like record shows using like the VHS and like having to rewind?
No, not with VHS. I've had that before because my box TV had a VHS player that you could record on. But what my grandpa did, because he had the Blockbuster membership card, so like he would like I think every weekend like we go to Blockbuster for something new. Normally I'd rent games. It was where I'd actually go for movies, but I there were, and I'll get to it, but. No, he would like get a bunch of movies, popular ones primarily, and he would make DVD copies of the DVDs. And it's just like in the giant flip book of DVDs, just like written with Sharpies, the title, and you have like the full copied menu. It's the whole disc.
Wow.
And it's just like, so that's out there now, but what are you going to do? Come arrest my 70-year-old grandfather?
Door, like, come here.
What are you going to do? That was weird because that's actually the first semblance of how I was actually growing up experiencing Star Wars. Was like we had episodes 4, 5, 6, 1, and 2. Revenge of the Sith wasn't out yet. We had all those, and it was so weird. I would always pop in Return of the Jedi and sometimes Empire. But
Yeah, I was an Empire kid growing up. I had to watch a lot of Empire on those.
Oddly enough, of the OG 6, A New Hope was the last one I saw, which is so weird.
Whoa!
Of all 6, and it was weird because like I remember the first time watching it, I'm just like, "Oh, Vader's here already."
I remember being so bored with A New Hope as a kid. I'm like, this movie is so boring. But then I loved Empire Strikes Back.
Sadly, I was bored by the Hoth battle.
Wow!
But since then, I've grown a brain and I love it. But like back then, I was just like, "Give me the Dagobah."
Like, give me to the Yoda creature. Yeah, I was like, where's Yoda?
Muppets, man. I love Muppets. Like,
even with the prequels, I'm like, is Yoda coming? Where's Luke at? And like, this is the Phantom Menace.
I mean, stemming off of that with Blockbuster, I would rent primarily movies about either the Muppets, or Godzilla. Obviously, that was my big shtick. Is like I was getting Millennia era DVDs of Godzilla, or I was getting like random Muppet things that were intriguing, or like maybe even like some semblance of an animated Garfield, something like that.
Yeah.
Aside from video games like Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
Or Lego
for me, yes, Legos. I remember getting like, it must have been PS2 games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or what had to be.
I had an OG Xbox at the time.
Yeah,
I have a funny story with that. Like a semblance of games I get would be like, I remember I got the Fantastic Four movie game, and I've also gotten the Avatar: Last Airbender game. But because I'm such an arrogant player and I don't want to read, I skip the instructions and I get stuck. So I can't progress anymore. And I just screwed myself out for a week of gaming.
Sounds like Nathan.
But it was funny because I wanted to get a video game, but like I couldn't at the time go with my grandfather to get it. I guess it was just like too quick of a semblance of like running errands. So my grandma had him get me a game, and he brings back the Scooby-Doo game. I'm like, okay, cool. I like Scooby-Doo. And again, I tell you, I have the OG Xbox, and I open the disc and I see a very tiny GameCube.
No,
the tiny GameCube disc, and I'm just like, how comical. That it's not just because it's a Blockbuster case, so it's not custom made. So there's just like spare space surrounding the disc.
No, so it's like the actual illusion of it.
Oh,
yeah, so I'm just like, all right, we're stuck here.
Oh man.
But like my grandmother was amused because like, look how tiny the disc is.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
It would be years before I could actually like get a Wii to do that, which I've never played a GameCube game on the Wii, but it's possible. Movie talk.
No, I was gonna bring up before we got into the video games. I remember it might have been a VHS of the Goonies. I cannot remember specifically, but
I grew up with the
Goonies.
I grew up with the VHS of the Goonies.
Yeah, I believe that's how I discovered the Goonies. Was
so good.
I had a sleepover with one of my good family friends, and we're like, oh, it's Friday movie night. We're going to go to Blockbuster. Like, we're so cool. And we would get the Goonies. And then every time we had a sleepover, we just get the Goonies because we loved it so much.
I remember my one of my family friends lent us a VHS that they just owned. And it was the Disney Channel movie Smart House. And it had the Blockbuster like tape on the bottom. And I was like, oh, what? This is interesting.
This good old DComs.
Remnants of the time long past.
I still never seen Goonies. It's on Netflix. And I gotta
really? Dude, you gotta. It's
one of those movies that always
Richard Donner film, but it's also from Spielberg, and it's a classic.
Yeah, classic.
It's 80s staple. It's so weird that I keep forgetting Josh Brolin's in it because he's like the older brother. Yeah, he's the older brother, but like he looks so scrawny compared to like Thanos. Like,
and now looking back, I'm like trying to like look at like the facial features that will be.
Yeah, because like the main little kid is Sean Austin, who becomes Samwise in Lord of the Rings. But like,
I know, it's crazy.
It's so weird. And even like the kid from Temple of Doom, like, isn't it? Like,
yeah,
he's a little older in it, so it's so fascinating. Yeah, it's so 80s, but it's like. It's weird because it's 80s, but we're hunting treasure.
Yes, and it's perfect, and I love that.
It really is. So much. It's in the same vein classics as like The Sandlot, with just like
yes,
kids growing up.
Speaking of that was a big one for me. Before I had The Sandlot on DVD, I think that was also discovered.
Yeah, and Angels in the Outfield. I remember getting that one too.
Yeah,
Oh man,
Other
those baseball classics.
Field of Dreams. I think
Field
I
of
remember.
Dreams.
Yeah.
Very good.
Ooh, so in the semblance of the new wave of Blu-rays, that was around the age of like 2010, 2011.
Yeah.
I went into Blockbuster and there was like a couple of things to notice. Number one, primarily displayed in the middle of the store playing on this tiny widescreen was the Phantom Menace pod racing scene in Blu-ray on a PlayStation 3. And it was like the whole semblance of everything. I was just like, wow, look at it. Like,
so
HD.
clear.
It's funny. It's like in this like big glass dome case, but like so nobody touches it. But it's like it's so fascinating because you're just looking. It's like PlayStation 3, Blu-ray Star Wars, like just all of it clicking together. And 360 doesn't have Blu-ray. It's like, but also I remember I went to go. This is I think how I first originally saw it. I went to go rent the Clone Wars movie, the Filoni, 2008, and it was there. And I know, but I'm a child who knows no better. We'll know better eventually, but it's just like there's this whole wall taken up by the Clone Wars movie, and I'm just like, oh my god, look at it all! Look at Anakin, like just on the cover.
It was like when it came out, and
this was funny because this was actually we were like close friends with our next door neighbor, and like we went with them to rent something. Like they allowed me to get something. I was like, okay, cool, and I grabbed the Blu-ray, but it's like. Luckily, the dude actually had a knowledge of like, well, hold on now. Do you have the capability of playing Blu-ray? And I was like, I don't know. He's like, well, probably not. Grab the DVD. I was like, thank you. Smart man.
Back when Blu-ray was like, oh, do you have an HD TV? Can you have 720p capability?
I know, yeah. I was like,
we had my dad got this like 42-inch flat screen like some Father's Day back in like 2008, 2008.
Black Friday TV shopping back then was so
and it had a built-in
thing back.
It had a built-in Blu-ray player and like the big event film around 2009. What are we finally gonna check it out?
Avatar, right?
Yeah, or I guess it was 2010. Yes, it's Avatar, and it's like okay, cool. And like it starts playing smoothly, but then like the Blu-ray player like broke, and it's like great.
Wow.
So, I mean, we still got to watch it, but it was just like all right, well, back to normal DVDs, I guess. Like still through it, but we can't use the player. All great.
Isn't it? It's crazy that we're talking about this progression of Blockbuster stuff, and I'm realizing how young Blu-rays really are and how phased out they've already become. You know,
there was a whole nother like side thing that failed. Called I think they were just like HD DVD, and they were like red casings.
Yes, I remember those.
I think I remember like seeing a case of Peter Jackson's King Kong in one of those. I was like, this is interesting. Like, I don't. There's so many different things. I was DVD. I don't know. Like, but yeah, like obviously that didn't pan out.
I remember specifically for the first like, I think this was like, so if your PS3 was hooked up to the internet, which obviously it was, and then you got one of the Blu-ray discs where this was when the Blu-ray disc could start hooking up and launching trailers that were newer, because usually you're so used to like with Blockbuster movies you're like, oh, this is so fun because it's the trailers from like whatever 2002 or whatever movie you're watching. This is a throwback. But I remember for the first time popping in a Blu-ray and then like current trailers would pop up for whatever studio it is. I'm like,
oh yeah, they did have that.
I just thought that was so revolutionary. I'm like, the disc has hooked up to the internet.
I think I've only ever seen that once ever, and I remember it was like a kind of like a download, like stream loading icon. I was like, what's happening? Just where's the trailers? Like,
yeah, don't they still do that now for current Blu-rays?
Yes. Yeah, a lot of my Blu-rays
they do. All right.
Oh yeah, you don't buy Blu-rays that much, don't you, Nathan? Like,
well, yeah, I mean, even like so recently, like when I got like the only Blu-ray capability I have is my PlayStation now. Like everything else, I just primarily did digital. Like I think only like once ever have I played my Blu-ray copy of Civil War. Wow. I don't think I've ever popped in my Last Jedi Blu-ray actually.
Wow.
It's untouched, man.
Go to jail.
Well, I streamed it. Like I had the digital code
on the FBI as we speak.
I was on my most HD TV in the living room that does not have anything hooked up to it. So
I have my Blu-ray copy of Your Name right over there.
I definitely want to get back to Blu-ray. I mean, I'm another thing, because I don't have like 3D TV capabilities. I have my untouched 3D Force Awakens that I won from Star Wars.
I watched the normal Blu-ray from that set, but I don't watch the 3D. It's just sitting there.
I know the Blu-ray 3Ds have the because this was a big like thing to like discover is like they have the IMAX shots expansions that weren't readily available anymore after theater release, and you can only pull them from the 3D Blu-rays. But then you also have like two side-by-side shots that are supposed to merge together,
Right.
so you just kind of like have to
piece it together.
Yeah, which is
That's cool.
somebody has done, and like the Force Awakens Falcon sequence, you can watch it online. It's not in the best quality, but it's there and it's awesome.
You know, I remember getting that special edition of The Force Awakens. That was like I already owned 2 copies of The Force Awakens. For every reason, I'm like, I'm getting this because the holographic cover thing and like all of
Yeah. No, I have the holographic cover one. My grandfather ordered it because like, oh, the new Star Wars is coming in. I was like, oh, cool. I'm totally gonna steal your digital code. Then the Star Wars Newsnet did they were doing a giveaway of the Blu-ray, and they were just like, what's your favorite scene from The Force Awakens? And I was overly detailed because I was like, well, I do love the Falcon's first flight, and I do love the lightsaber.
Oh my gosh!
Then I broke down the entirety of Rey's vision because it's my favorite scene, and they were like, winner, and I was like, cool, because it's also my birthday.
Hell yeah!
I'd have been like Raylo.
So I remember it came out late 2015 or late 2016. Sorry, that edition came out, and I remember I got in the mail that edition of it and Catalyst, the book hyping up Rogue One, the journey to Rogue One with Catalyst, like
nice
a month before. And I remember reading Catalyst and then popping in The Force Awakens and watching all the Rogue One trailers, and oh, what a time!
Oh, similar to what Carson was saying about like the downloads to your disc. On my OG Xbox, I popped in my disc 2 of Revenge of the Sith DVD, and I popped it into the Xbox, and it was like, it prompted me like, do you want to play this demo? And I was like, okay, cool. And like, what is it? And it's the entire Utapau campaign for Star Wars Battlefront 2 from 2005.
Whoa!
Where you could like play Obi-Wan, fight Grievous, everything. Like, oh my god, this is insanity!
Oh, is
and I would just like replay that.
Or is there like the special features around there too?
No, they're on there too. Like everything's accessible. I think you have to like go under a menu thing, and then it's like select Battlefront 2. Which is
it's really so weird that being on the same disc, like
right, like it was like, oh, mini game, let's go. Like,
yeah, such an early 2000s thing. It's crazy.
Definitely.
It was weird too. I mean, kind of like getting off topic from Blockbuster, which I'll go back to, but it is weird, like the whole early assessment of consoles to begin with, because I remember you had to have like for Xbox have like a custom DVD remote to navigate properly. It wasn't just controller like nowadays, and I was like, this is weird. You had to like plug in this like sensor reading for your control, for your actual remote control, into like one of the ports for the controller, because we weren't always wireless. It was crazy. But yeah, back to Blockbuster. It's such a nostalgic staple now.
It totally is. Real quick, like, did you guys ever go to the video store, Hollywood Video? I went to that. I
always wanted to. I was never around it.
I had a Hollywood Video.
Recently, like back in, I took a trip to Michigan in 2017, and they had one like up, and it was like still open, I guess. Never got to actually go into it though, unfortunately.
Oh, wow.
Still saw one in the flesh, and I was like, oh my god, a rental thing. Look how cool it is. And my dad's just like, things are so easy now. Why do you
I still have a rental store. I have a Family Video right next to my mom's house. Yeah, Family Video, and I always go there over the summertime.
Mine is attached to the like indie theater.
What's it called?
Oh god, what is it called? Well, the theater's called. Oh my god, how am I blanking on this? Oh, the theater's called like Liberty Hall, but I think the video store is called something different. Liberty.
But yeah, it's cool having a video store like in these days. I still like it. It's still very popular like on weekends. I
always hated like the first official start of like the shutdowns of Blockbuster, and like I'll even see nowadays, like they have the very specific big signs where it's a pulled ticket stub that says Blockbuster, and it's like it's iconic. I'll drive around town, I'll be passing like one of these stores, and the sign will be like some sort of like prompt for like a boat marina, but it's still the shape of the ticket stub. So I'm like, I know what you were. Live.
Right. Live. They like retrofit the signs to like, they don't change the shape of them. And it's like,
what's funny is it was still in yellow and blue. And I was like, you're not even trying.
So lazy.
Like, come on, man.
Now it's Long John Silver's or something.
My favorite Kreme place, like my favorite Krispy Kreme donuts place, became a bank, and they like kept like the Krispy Kreme like, but it was like the bank, and it was just really
on the back, dude, on the back of the Blockbuster, where they had the sign. There's just a faded out print of the big sign there now, but they haven't like painted over or anything, so it's just death. It's just death incarnate. Like, it's crazy. Do you guys have any semblance of memory of like what was like the last time you went to rent for?
See, it's hard because I always I transitioned into Redbox a lot for at least for like for like family road trips and stuff. We'd always get Redbox DVDs because it was quick.
It's crazy that's still available.
Right. Yeah. So I'm trying to think when.
I remember the progression of the rise of Netflix, which I guess we could talk about that. That was interesting because like it was back when like I think it was around 2010 because I was living down in Key West at the very bottom of the States, and we had the first official like Netflix like back when it was like initially launched, and like there was like a few set titles that were like able to stream. Some of them were Muppets, and I was hyped. But it was also the instance when like it was the start where you could actually get them sent to you in the mail. Like you get
I remember
the discs like in a big old list of your queue, and it's like next up will be sent this, and then like it just interchanges. You can change the.
Sounds so crazy to me. I never invested in that kind of like. I think I never started using Netflix till 2009 or 2010.
What? Like, yeah, Sam. I think that was initially for their launch.
Oh, was it? Because I don't know when, but I never used the mail thing. That sounds so foreign to me. Like I always just, that's probably what we have today. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it was weird. Eventually, they started fading out. I think you could like get like some sort of like a bit more in your fee. You can get like 2 movies at a time instead of just one. So it made.
They actually, I'm pretty sure they do still have the mail service. It's very limited, but.
That's kind of cool. It was so weird too, though, because you would get like this envelope, and it's like here it is, and then like you have to open it up a specific way. Don't break it.
Yeah,
and then
so
you have to like once you just get like this little tiny like square disc pack that has like the title and description of the movie with the rating, and you just pull out the disc, you use it, you put it back in, then you put it back in the envelope that you flip reseal with a separate sticker. It's the exact same thing. You just send it back out, and it's like. It scared me as a child because I was so afraid I was going to screw up the thing and like how do you send it back?
Yeah, no, I had Sony broken DVDs around the house too, just from like.
Wow.
I hate that I grew up like uncaring for my DVDs and like so many things.
Me too.
What is wrong with you two?
We're children. We don't know.
I can't relate to that at all. I never broke a DVD.
I didn't break it, but it's scratched.
My Phantom Menace DVD out, I just like chuck it in there.
What, Carson?
Into the Lego bin. Yeah, no, I mean, and that was like such a big prominent display for Blu-rays as well. It's like they don't scratch as easy. It's like, oh, dope! Like,
yes,
finally, I can watch Prisoner of Azkaban. I lost my disc 1 of Prisoner of Azkaban and never got to watch it. I was so sad. So I just watched.
I'll send you my DVD.
Well, I mean, I'm good now, but I stream. I can just. I grew up on Chambers.
It's nostalgia because the booklet is the Marauder's map. The booklet is the map.
Yes.
Oh man, I'm sad.
I wonder if I have that.
I'm sad because I just had the casing, like the normal casing, but the first 2 Harry Potters I had where like they opened up into like 4 folds.
Yes,
just 1 and 2, and had the art print and like the scene selections titles. It's so good.
Man, I miss. This is actually to cap it off of like this physical media discussion and nostalgia for that. The news broke this week that Disney is stopping 4K productions of like not only the Fox library but like
the whole like that's a lot. That is
like a lot of classics. Stuff. So like
now is this they're just stopping the 4K productions, or are they still making DVDs for these movies? Or
it sounds like it stops manufacturing altogether.
Yeah, they're stopping altogether, and so like movies like I don't know, it was listing some like Aliens and like Fight Club, for example, have never gotten 4K releases. Those are never going to get at least physical 4K release unless the rare instance where like Fight Club or something goes to Criterion and they're able to get rights just specifically for that.
And how likely do you see something like Alien getting not just 4K master, but like added to something like Disney Plus?
0% chance.
I know, and which is
sad.
horrible. Like, what else? Where else do you go? I mean, yeah, I can, I guess, buy it through like Vudu streaming, but like, it doesn't have a 4K.
Yeah, tragic.
I mean, I'm not immediate like.
So
4K
it's pretty much
movie.
like anti-future proofing.
Yeah, this was a scare that like people had too. Is just like this was a whole big scare before the deal went through with Disney and Fox. It was because Disney has been known to mass market, like they'll forever take away some of their classics, like they advertise in the Disney Vault, and like it's just trapped in there forever until they decide to bring it out again for expensive marginal profit, and then they'll bring it back in the vault again for a limited time.
Which I will hate if that happens with like Aliens and stuff, where they're
Yeah,
like,
which is horrible.
Own all of them, so I'm fine. But like,
I mean, yeah, there's like a lot of box sets of the Alien franchise, but like, get them while you can, I guess.
Yeah, literally
tragic,
sad.
It's so sad, especially like collector's editions and stuff. Like they're like so beautiful, and they're. I mean, I know like I've moved away from physical media, but that's just from a financial standpoint. If I could, I would be like all the time because I love the amount of collection. I love how it looks. Even though I have no room in my room and everything's overflowing, I have my whole desk cabinet of rows on rows. I have like a bookshelf stacked. I have a shelf right over here, probably just like stacked as well, and it's just like, I'm overflowing.
Yeah, so many boxes of DVDs. It's crazy.
Oh yeah. It's just it's nuts. Just the whole progression of physical media and the rise of Netflix and the fact that like they initially offered to buy Blockbuster. Blockbuster was just like, no, we're good. We got this.
Because Netflix didn't come out really back then. I mean, they were starting to, but Blockbuster was like, this is not going to blow up.
Yeah.
And just the whole decrease of it was surreal to also like still be seeing like new movie posters in a Blockbuster, even though it was slowly dying off. Like you could feel it, like just the lack of like. First off, like available product on the shelf because it wasn't getting pulled as much, and just like active members. And then when you just see like those big like blowout, everything is going mega sales, and it's just like, oh, this sucks, man. And then the eventual renovations, it's sad because it's like such a big part in at least my personal childhood, and just to see it
of movies in general. That's it was half of discovering stories in movies was like going to the movie theater, yes, but. Those random Friday nights where you just picked up a movie from Blockbuster and it was like an experience to like actually go to a location, browse a section.
Yeah, even today, like anytime I go into somewhere like a Walmart, my primary objective if I'm just walking around, I'm going straight to electronics and I'm browsing.
I'm going straight to the $5 movie bin and I'm seeing what's in there.
Absolutely, man, that's fun. Like it's just like a treasure hunt, essentially.
I'm in the Goonies every time.
I mean, yeah, I'll just be like going through like the $5 movie, and I'll see like random like just trash, low grade movies, and I'm like, why's Forrest Gump in here with them?
There's good stuff in there. I remember last time I went there, I got like a $5 Blu-ray of The Town. And I'm like, oh, sweet.
Yeah, no, there's like all those little like steals in there. It'd be like, Zoolander 2, and then it'll be like
sometimes I'll have double features in there of like two like
it'll
be connected. Like it'll be like action pack. Something starring Jason Statham and then
Godzilla and Pacific Rim. What? I got that too. I literally have that.
Wow. That's amazing.
Even though I already had Godzilla on its own, I was just like, $5.
Of course.
$5, man. They're both DVD quality, so congrats. You got bought 480. You paid $20 for 480p. Oh, how I wish I knew. But yeah, it's so funny, and I mean, I know this is just Disney pulling on my nostalgia, but I was so enthusiastic when the first Captain Marvel trailer came out and she crashes into a Blockbuster. I was like, that's amazing. And even like today for the thumbnail, I was actually I was looking through like screen caps of like when she lands in the Blockbuster, and I was like, this would be fun. It'd be fun for memory, but there's too many like close angles. And I was like,
just see like our faces up on the shelves, just like
So I love that. Just her browsing stuff is great. It's so short, but it's just funny. She's just like taking out like a True Lies standee, shoots off Arnold's head and stuff, like everything, just the classics. Like again, like the standees and just like everything displayed. It's such a time. It's such a lovely aesthetic because it's essentially just like a library for film that you get to check out. The death of cinema.
That has become my fill-in for You know, Blockbusters being gone, is I go to the library and even now I can pick up like, you know, I can go in there for 10 minutes and get like my holds or whatever, but they have excellent, just like all sorts of DVDs and you can spend hours in there just like going through stuff. So
so good. It's so fun, man. Such a fun pastime. Would you guys say that about covers all for today?
Yeah,
definitely.
Alrighty, well, what a time. Blast from the past. But yeah, it was so cool seeing like the Airbnb news, because it's fun. I follow this parody Twitter, Last Blockbuster, and they just like tweet out the most sad, pathetic stuff where it's just like, all right, well, we had to put the pen on a chain. You guys made me do this, like stuff like that. Or just like, there's a homeless dude in the parking lot. Just try to avoid him and stuff like that.
Oh man, not gonna take it out.
I'm gonna go follow this now.
Celebrate 4th of July.
Yeah.
Celebrate 4th of July. We're burning a couch in the alley. Like, and like the next year they did that again. They were like, this time we have 2 couches. Like,
oh my god.
It's sad. It's funny.